It was a night like any other. But what happened next would forever change the history of the Middle East. Imagine a coordinated attack, guided by text messages on pagers, a nearly forgotten technology that played a crucial role in one of the region's most intense conflicts. What led Israel to use this seemingly obsolete method? And how did it alter the course of events on that fateful day? As the world watched, a plan unfolded in the shadows, involving espionage, military strategy, and communication that was as secretive as it was effective. Have you ever considered the power of a simple message? In a scenario where information is everything, a beat could mean life or death. And in this tangled web of decisions, how did yesterday's technology become the key to a devastating attack? Prepare to dive into a story filled with curiosities and twists. Each detail reveals a little more about the intricate game of power and strategy in the region. What seemed like a simple communication transformed into a turning point. And are you ready to uncover what really happened? Let's go! The relationship between Israel and Lebanon is complex, marked by a series of conflicts that span decades. To understand the present, it's necessary to look to the past. From the Lebanon War in 1982 to more recent clashes, tension has always simmered beneath the surface. Hezbollah, for instance, emerged in response to Israeli occupation and solidified itself as a significant military and political force in Lebanon. This group is much more than just a militia. It is a political actor with considerable influence over the country's internal dynamics. Hezbollah's presence in Lebanon is not merely a security issue. It is also about identity and resistance. The group positions itself as a defender of Lebanese sovereignty against Israeli aggression, resonating with many Lebanese, particularly within the Shiite community. This narrative of fighting against a common enemy strengthens Hezbollah and allows it to maintain substantial control over Lebanese politics and society. Moreover, the region's geopolitics involve other actors, such as Syria and Iran, who have direct interest in Lebanon and its relationship with Israel. Iran's influence on Hezbollah is well documented, complicating the situation further. Iran's financial and military support not only bolsters the group, but also makes it a proxy agent in the broader tensions between the West and the Middle East. On the other hand, Israel views Hezbollah as an existential threat. The country has invested in advanced military technology and preventive strategies to neutralize this threat. This perception of a constant enemy shapes not only Israel's defense policy, but also its relations with other countries in the region and the world. Alliances form and dissolve, but the rivalry between Israel and Lebanon remains a central element in Middle Eastern geopolitics. It's a true puzzle, where each piece fits together to create a scenario of ongoing instability. The stories of losses and victories shape the narratives of both sides. And this complexity is not easily resolved. Time passes, but wounds remain open, making peace a daunting goal to achieve. When discussing the nature of the attack, it's impossible not to notice how sophisticated the tactics and technologies involved have become. Attacks are no longer just about brute force. There is now a much more elaborate strategy behind each move. The use of pagers as a means of communication and coordination clearly illustrates how technology can be leveraged in modern conflicts. This choice of tool reveals a deep understanding of the vulnerabilities in traditional communications. Pagers, being devices that do not rely on conventional telephone networks, offer a certain security in exchanging information, especially in a context where communication systems may be monitored or even targeted for attacks. This tactic demonstrates impressive adaptability, allowing armed groups to maintain coordination without exposing themselves to unnecessary risks. The execution of the attack also showcases a precision that goes beyond what was possible in earlier conflicts. With technology at their disposal, it is possible to plan an operation that minimizes collateral damage and maximizes effectiveness. This approach is not just about causing destruction. It is about achieving specific strategic objectives, which in turn creates a new dynamic on the battlefield. Additionally, the way information is transmitted and received during an attack directly influences troop morale. Effective communication can be what separates success from failure in a military operation. Knowing that there is a clear plan and that everyone is connected boosts confidence among combatants. which is crucial in high-pressure situations. Finally, this evolution in tactics and technologies is not limited to Lebanon or Hezbollah. Israel has also adapted to these new realities. The arms race and technological innovation have become part of everyday life in the region, shaping how wars are fought and, consequently, how peace can be negotiated. This dynamic of attack and defense is a cycle that seems never-ending, and the lessons learned in one confrontation are often applied to the next. When an attack like the one between Israel and Lebanon occurs, the implications for regional security are undoubtedly profound. The first thing that comes to mind is the instability that such an event can generate, not only between the directly involved countries, but throughout the entire Middle East. Neighboring countries, already living under the shadow of conflicts and tensions, begin to question their own defense strategies and alliances. It creates a domino effect. One attack provokes chain reactions that can culminate in an escalation of violence. Furthermore, the dynamics of power in the Middle East are extremely complex. What many do not realize is that the attack can serve to reinforce alliances among local armed groups and international partners. For example, the response from countries like Iran, which already supports Hezbollah, could intensify militarization in the region. At the same time, other countries, such as Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, may feel compelled to strengthen their military capabilities or even form new coalitions, creating an increasingly volatile environment. And we cannot forget the reactions from the international community. The responses from powers like the United States and Russia can directly influence the situation. If one side receives military or financial support, it can not only shift the balance of power, but also heighten tensions between the great powers. On the other hand, an action can be seen as a sign of weakness, prompting more aggressive actions from those involved. It's a delicate dance, where every move can have global repercussions. Amidst all this, the safety of civilians becomes a primary concern. Uncertainty creates a climate of fear and distrust, not only in conflict areas, but throughout the region. Displacement of people, scarcity of resources, and rising crime rates are direct consequences that can be observed. The stability of neighboring nations may be threatened, with refugees crossing borders in search of safety, which can, in turn, generate tensions in countries already facing their own challenges. Ultimately, the implications for regional security are not limited to the present, but also shape the future. With each attack and each response, narratives solidify and divisions deepen. It's a vicious cycle that continues, and with every new crisis, the gaps in the collective security of the Middle East become more evident and harder to close. The internal repercussions of such an attack are varied and often devastating. In Lebanon, for instance, the population is already grappling with a series of challenges, including an unprecedented economic crisis. A new conflict only exacerbates the situation, leading to increased public dissatisfaction. The government, already viewed with distrust, may see its legitimacy further questioned, potentially resulting in protests and social unrest. The fragility of Lebanese institutions becomes even more evident, and the sense of powerlessness can lead to an increase in radicalization among the population. The reactions from the international community are also noteworthy. Countries with interest in the region tend to be quick to issue statements of condemnation or support, but often these words do not translate into concrete actions. When an attack occurs, what follows is a scramble to position politically. Lebanon may receive promises of aid, but is that enough to contain the impact of the attack? More often than not, the answer is no. The international community may appear supportive, but the reality on the ground is far more complex. Armed groups within Lebanon may also view the attack as an opportunity. Polarization may increase, leading to a reconfiguration of political and social alliances. Hezbollah, for example, could utilize the situation to reinforce its narrative of resistance, attempting to garner popular support. This could result in a resurgence of hostilities, not only against Israel, but also against other groups within Lebanon that may be seen as opponents. Internationally, the situation could create a new paradigm of alliances. Countries that have traditionally maintained neutrality may feel pressured to take a clear stance. This could alter the power dynamics, leading to the formation of new coalitions and testing old alliances. The United Nations and other international organizations may also be compelled to act, but their interventions are often limited and may not have a significant impact on resolving the conflict. In light of all this, the lingering question is, how will Lebanon and the international community navigate this complexity? The repercussions of an attack do not end at the borders of the country where it occurs. They reverberate around the world, shaping the foreign policies of various nations and ultimately impacting the lives of people living in a region marked by incessant conflicts. When we think of war, we often imagine tanks, fighter planes, and soldiers in the field. However, the technological revolution we have experienced over the past few decades has introduced new ways to conduct military operations. The use of communication technologies, such as pagers, is a clear example of how even the simplest methods can be transformative in a war context. This shift in communication can not only enhance operational efficiency, but also alter how conflicts are planned and executed. Pagers, which were once considered obsolete devices, have resurfaced as a crucial tool in combat scenarios. In areas where communication via phone or internet may be compromised, these devices become a lifeline. They allow teams to maintain real-time contact, coordinating movements and strategies without the risk of easy interception by the enemy. This rapid and secure communication capability is vital for the success of military operations, especially in high-tension situations. Moreover, the use of simpler communication technologies can indicate a shift in how armed groups organize themselves. Instead of relying on complex systems that may fail or be monitored, the use of pagers enables a more resilient communication network. This suggests that, in a world where war is becoming increasingly technological, simpler tactics may paradoxically offer an advantage. It's a reevaluation of what it means to be armed on the battlefield. This new era in warfare strategies also raises ethical and security questions. The ease of communication can facilitate both the coordination of attacks and the dissemination of misleading information. Armed groups may use these technologies to manipulate the narrative surrounding a conflict, creating confusion and uncertainty. Thus, modern warfare is not merely a battle of physical force, but also a struggle for information and public perception. Finally, the evolution of communication technologies in warfare can have significant impacts on international relations. As conflicts become more complex and tactics more diversified, countries that might have previously remained neutral may be drawn into the fray. How nations react to these new technologies, whether by adopting them, attempting to control them, or condemning their use, can redefine alliances and rivalries in the global arena. In summary, the future of warfare extends beyond the battlefield, reaching into the realm of communication and how conflicts are managed in an interconnected world. So, folks, now that you've delved into the intriguing details of this Israeli attack on Lebanon, it's time to reflect. How can a simple pager be the key to understanding such a complex event? This makes us ponder. How many other stories are lurking in the shadows of history, waiting to be uncovered? Have you ever considered how communication technology has changed the way conflicts are fought today? And how does this affect how we perceive war and peace? What would you do if you were in the shoes of those involved? Curiosity is a gateway to knowledge, and I invite you to open a few more with us. Now, I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on communication during crisis situations? Are there any historical events you believe deserve a deeper analysis? Share your ideas in the comments. And don't forget, if you enjoyed this topic, give it a like and share it. We have plenty more fascinating curiosities and stories ahead. Keep traveling with us and stay informed about everything related to culture, curiosity, and of course, plenty of adventure. See you in the next video.